Christian nationalists want to turn America into a theocracy, a government under biblical rule. If things go their way this election, it could mean more power for them and fewer rights for you. I'm Heath Drusen, and on the new season of Extremely American, I'll take you inside the movement that seeks to rebuild the country in God's image. Listen to Extremely American from Boise State Public Radio, part of the NPR network.
From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Gemma Gaudette. This is Idaho Matters. Yesterday, more than 30,000 people were told to flee their homes as new wildfires started burning around Los Angeles, including one not far from Magic Mountain. Now, when the fires first started burning places like Pacific Palisades, firefighters from around the country streamed into California to help, including Kelly Martin. She's been fighting wildfires and advocating for the health of firefighters for years. In fact, she co-founded the advocacy group Grassroots Wildland Firefighters. And Kelly is joining us now, and I should say, from a fire truck in the Los Angeles area. So, Kelly, thank you for taking time for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We just happened to be on our 24-hour off, and we are staged here at Will Rogers State Beach. So happy to be here, and thank you for the invite.
So, Kelly, how long have you been fighting fires, and where exactly?
Specifically here in the Los Angeles area, we got the call the day after these fires started, which they started on January 7th. We got the call on the 8th, and we started traveling on the 9th. And so what happened is California put the call out to neighboring states to ask for additional assistance because they were simply overwhelmed with both the Eaton fire and the Palisades fire. And so our very small fire department, the Whitebird Volunteer Fire Department in Whitebird, Idaho, we were able to put three of us together on our fire engine, and away we rolled, along with 24 other engines from Idaho, to make up 5 strike teams from Idaho. So Idaho really responded to the call to help LA.
And Kelly, how long has your firefighting career been going on?
I started fighting fire in 1983, just right out of college.
So you have quite a bit of experience in this. And so I would love if you could kind of give us a visual of what you have seen so far down in California. Can you describe what some of these areas look like? I mean, I know we've seen videos, we've seen pictures, but your boots on the ground there.
Yeah. I spent most of my time, a lot of my time in California as the fire chief of Yosemite National Park. And so I spent a lot of time going to fires in California from 2006 until I retired in 2019. And I had never seen anything like this. And so seeing this actually on the news, I felt absolutely compelled to make this trip to see what was actually going on the ground with boots on the ground here. And so it really is beyond anything that I've ever seen in my career. And it's not, so being here is, I'm really trying to understand, all the elements that have come together to make this a true catastrophe within the LA area.
I mean, just from the video and the pictures I've seen, I mean, it looks almost apocalyptic in some areas. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, when the Santa Anas picked up and they blew through here, a lot of the news outlets are saying that they haven't really received any rain, any appreciable amount of rain in like 8 months. And so that has considerably dried out all the live and dead vegetation. And so when the Santa Anas picked up, all it needed was an inadvertent start. I don't know anything about how and I'm on the Palisades fire. I don't know how it started, but I do know that there's tremendous amount of investigation going on. But when you get 80 to 100 mile an hour winds that enter a highly developed urban area, the fire really then proceeds house to house. And there's vegetation in and around the house. There's large hedges that are, 15 to 20 foot tall. A lot of explosive materials, in the houses themselves that then start the next house on fire. So it really was just burning house to house, as it entered these really tightly, densely packed urban areas.
So, as I mentioned when I was introducing you, Kelly, you're part of a group called the Grassroots Wildland Firefighters. Can you tell us what it is and what is your mission with this organization?
So, because I spent 35 years in the federal wildland firefighting organization for both the U.S. Forest Service and the National Park Service, we've really seen an uptick in the explosive uh, environments for wildfires. When we look at pay, compensation, and benefits of other wildland firefighters, such as Cal Fire, San Diego, Los Angeles County, our counterparts are doing the very same thing, yet we're paid only about a third of what they're paid, as well as benefits such as presumptive
Mm,
diseases and cancers. They get mental health support. There's a tremendous amount of disparity between the federal wildland firefighters and the state and county and local municipal firefighters. So we're trying very, very hard to advocate with our elected officials, both at the state level, but mostly the federal level, because we're federal wildland firefighters and we don't have a union like International Association of Firefighters. And so it's very, very hard to help politicians understand why this is so important to us and our health and well-being and to our communities, because we can go
mhm.
all over the United States doing this work.
And Kelly, you mentioned some of the chemicals, the toxins that firefighters are exposed to, right? On all of these
No,
fires, and
exactly.
there are a lot of toxic chemicals floating around down in the LA area right now with all those burned buildings. So, are you concerned about the health of the firefighters? I mean, yourself included, who are fighting these fires right now.
Yeah, when we enter the dimension of an urban area and all these buildings and the metals and the concrete and the asbestos and all the different fibers and plastics and lithium batteries from EV vehicles, we really have no idea what we're being exposed to. And so it takes on a completely different dimension for me in terms of my own personal health, but also our communities. When the winds blow, all these toxins that are now sitting on the ground are going to get sucked up into the next big windstorm and not just affect firefighters, but also affect our communities. So
Mm.
it's a major issue. I don't know if anyone's actually even tracking the particulates and what type of particulates are going to be coming out of these really devastating urban fires.
So, Kelly, speaking of urban fires, I mean, you mentioned you're from Idaho, but being down in California, seeing these neighborhoods just decimated, are you concerned that something like this could happen in Idaho? And I should note, I mean, in Boise, just a few months ago, we had a fire that was very close to the city limits. In fact, it impacted numerous neighborhoods in the east end, actually, of the city of Boise. So, I mean, the more we build, it seems the greater opportunity it is to have something like what's happening in California happen here as well.
Yeah, there's definitely an increasing trend. When you push urban development into wildfires landscape, it is a very dangerous combination. And so we continue to need housing. We continue to develop in these areas that are highly prone to conflagrations. And as we continue to suppress fires in the natural vegetation areas, that vegetation continues to grow until it dies or until a wildfire approaches. So right now, from a community standpoint of view, we're really trying to emphasize hardening our homes, the ones that we live in right
Hmm.
now, against a wildfire. And you may be 4 or 5, 10 blocks away from the interface, which is, the common term. But when you see blocks and blocks and miles of homes and buildings destroyed, you begin to realize that, am I safe? and what should I do? And so there's going to be a lot of conversations around, our existing developments and what we can do within our own footprint, our own property footprint. Even though you may be a half a mile away from the wildland, there's still opportunities for all of us to be part of, trying to best protect ourselves. Because yes, I think you're right. This is not the last time we're going to see this. We saw it on the Marshall Fire. We saw it in Lahaina. We saw it in Paradise. So there's nothing that gives me pause to think that this isn't going to happen again. It will happen again. We just don't exactly know where.
And Kelly, on top of that, what's next for your organization, the Grassroots Wildland Firefighters, when it comes to making sure that when these firefighters are called upon in these emergency situations, that they are taken care of?
We've been pushing really hard since we first got established in 2019, and we knew that our first pillar, it was appropriate classification for the work that we're doing. We have been pushing for appropriate classification as a wildland firefighter, as a first responder, not as a forestry technician. So that is in the works with our agencies. The next is pay parity, which there is a bill. I believe it's in both the House and the Senate for the 119th Congress, called the Wildland Firefighter Pay Protection Act. We've helped shepherd what's called Tim's Act, when a smoke jumper was killed on the fire line soon after we were established, to really look at significant reforms that would really assist wildland firefighters for their health and wellness. And then benefits. There's a number of benefits that were denied that a lot of our sister organizations, it comes with their package when they sign up as a state or a municipal firefighter that we're not afforded. So those are the things that we're pushing for right now in DC. And Luke Mayfield, our president of Grassroots Wildland Firefighters, is in DC as we speak. So he's making contacts with our elected officials to at least try to push through the Wildland Firefighter Pay Protection Act, which would increase our salary. Because right now, our entry-level firefighters come in at $15 an hour. And so we really want to be able to, recruit, retain, and promote the best and brightest of our organization. Right now, we can't do that because of the huge inequity and disparity in pay and benefits.
Before I let you go, Kelly, how long are you expecting to be in LA?
We are here until Sunday, so we're going to start making our way back to Idaho on Sunday, and I'll probably be back in McCall Monday night. So I'm looking forward to getting back, but this was truly an honor to be part of Idaho's contingent to come down here and help LA. And I think no matter what size department you work for, the community, the fire services, when the call comes out to help, you go help. Because we know that, Idaho may also have, some sort of, disaster in the not too distant future. And we want to be able to know that our sister agencies and organizations will come help us when the call comes out. So we're excited. We're very grateful for, the governor and all of our representatives to support this mission of sending us to LA. It's been quite remarkable, and I'm sure you'll hear many stories from many other departments that came down here with this task force.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time, Kelly. We've been speaking with Kelly Martin, co-founder of the advocacy group Grassroots Wildland Firefighters, talking about what she's seen while fighting the fires in Los Angeles. This is the Idaho Matters podcast. I'm Gemma Gaudet.
If you like podcasts like this, explore more from the Boise State Public Radio podcast family. There you'll find a mix of daily news, Idaho voices, and in-depth series on a wide range of topics. I'm talking wild horses, political scandals, sustainable ranching, and militia groups in a post-January 6th world. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search Boise State Public Radio to find what Idaho's NPR station has in store for you.